everyone, good afternoon. You're watching Market Fatafat right here on ET now. I'm Mubina Kapasi. Tough day for the markets yet again. We seem to be succumbing to weakness. The Nifty, in fact, on an intraday basis, even slipped below the 10,600 mark. And we are seeing an attempt to recover from those levels. Sensex too has lost 0.6%. The broader markets this time around are a little more resilient. But this is a show where we focus on the big movers and shakers and individual stocks that are grabbing attention. So to do just that, we have with us our team of research analysts. We have Vivek Iyer joining in along with Siddharth Bhamre, and also to give us their technical strategy, we're going to be joined by Manav Chopra of India Bulls Ventures as well as Ashish Kyal of Wave Strategies Advisor. So good morning to you gentlemen, good afternoon rather to all of you, and thanks so much for joining in. And let's start with the first stock, Dr. Reddy's. News with respect to increased competition when it comes to Suboxone. Alvogen has received the ANDA approval for the drug. Remember, it is used to treat opioid addiction. Mylan has already received the approval. Dr. Reddy's as well already had one. It's a very important drug for Dr. Reddy's. However, the competition for the drug certainly is increasing. The stock price today is higher by 1.3% at a little over 2,668 rupees. Manav, let's talk about Mahindra Logistics. Significant pricing action witnessed over here. What would you recommend to viewers?
See, overall the stock has been in a downtrend, has been consecutively forming a series of lower tops and bottoms, and also the prices on the weekly chart has breached its crucial support level. So the trend remains bearish. I recommend that anybody who's holding the position should definitely exit, because on the lower side, if we see the prices are likely to even test the levels of 440, so one should definitely avoid going long into this stock.
Okay, very bearish stance on Mahindra Logistics for Manav. Let's talk about Kerala meantime, and Ashish, this one too is crumbling under pressure today in trade.
Absolutely, Kerala has broken all the support levels and the selling pressure is intensifying with each passing hour. I would say it is best to avoid buying something like this and create a short position. Sell at CMP, stop loss 335, expecting a target of 304 or probably lower.
Alright, so while Kerala is cracking 3.7%, Praj Industries on the flip side is certainly surging significantly. Vivek, how are the numbers?
Well, it's a spectacular set of numbers as far as Praj Industries is concerned. In fact, have a look at the stock. It's clearly celebrating the very good set of numbers that the company has come out with. The income from operations has gone up almost a little over 80 crores on a year-on-year basis. And profitability, have a look at it, almost gone up 3 times, coming in at 22 crore rupees. Margins to go quite strong, and in fact the company had a special interim dividend as well of 25%.
Alright, 14% higher for Praj Industries. Take a look at BML, however, and Siddharth, it's another day of a crack witnessed here.
Well, yes, moving a 4th consecutive day of correction for the stock. Yesterday it closed below 200 DMA, and today after this 2.5-3% down move, it is decisively away from that 200 DMA, which means that the negative trend is gaining momentum. And needless to mention that in expiry week we are seeing a rise in open interest. We need to see in Bow copy whether this open interest stands or not, but there are traces of fresh formation of short positions.
Okay, some news on your screens, and this is with respect to the continued news flow around Jet Airways, beleaguered airline, cash crunch in the airline at this point of time, and now SBI. Do remember they are one of the lead lenders to the company, and in fact this is the leading consortium as well that's leading the consortium of lenders when it comes to Jet Airways. Now the latest being that SBI is set poised to own 15% of Jet Airways after the debt switch. I think we should just wait for some more clarity. When they say debt switch, do they mean essentially that the debt that SBI has lent to Jet Airways is going to be converted into equity? Because do remember yesterday as well, Jet Airways had said that they're going to be holding an EGM, and one of the key things that would be asked for when it comes to shareholder approval is the conversion of debt to equity. This is something that is going to be mulled over at the EGM. I think it's going to be held, if I'm not mistaken, towards the end of this month, the last time I checked. That's of course the latest news that was coming in. And now what we are picking up from agencies is that SBI is set poised to own 15% of Jet Airways after the debt switch. Lots of news with respect to SBI along with other lenders working on a resolution plan for Jet Airways. In fact, the latest was that Jet Airways had met with a lot of these stakeholders, including SBI, to talk about the financial position, to talk about the battering of the shares as well on the stock exchange. And SBI as well has been, that as well has been one banker who Jet Airways has not been able to obviously repay loans. It has defaulted on loan repayment to a consortium of all these Indian banks. Again, like I said, they are going to be holding an EGM or an extraordinary general meeting of its shareholders later this month to essentially get in a shareholder approval to convert debt to equity. That's naturally debt that is owned by most of these banking and financial names, a consortium. I'm not sure if this is in relation to that at this point of time. We will in fact try and connect with State Bank of India as well to take this conversation forward with them. What's the quantum that they are owed from Jet Airways in totality? How much of it would be converted into equity? Will they still be having some portion that will be held as debt, for Jet Airways? All of these things would be, we would have to talk to, SBI about the same. Okay, I think until we can just get in some more clarity, we should perhaps move on and continue with the countdown of the top movers and shakers. Manav, let's talk about Bank of India. The PSBs in general had been off late a little battered. Bank of India, of course, is a result candidate. So with the move that we are seeing today of more than 6%, how would you view the stock?
See, the prices have bounced from a deep oversold levels. We have already seen a good decline from its recent peak of 110 and the kind of a reversal that we witnessed today with volumes. I sense, the overall structure still remains bullish and looking on the pure risk reward ratio basis, the prices are likely to again retest the levels of 105. So for a short term, I think one can initiate long positions and one can also have a stop loss of 92 on the lower levels.
Okay, so a bullish stance on Bank of India, 6% up move today in trade. Strides Pharma, meantime, lots of news flow coming in over here. Of course, we did have the Q3 numbers that were delivered by the company, post which the stock did see a sharp spike. But I suppose what did aid that rebound that you can see on an intraday basis in Strides Pharma is the fact that the company has decided to exit its investment in Arrow, and this is doing so for a valuation of 394 million Australian dollars. Now, this essentially is being done to pay down the debt. And this is being viewed as quite a positive development for Strides Pharma. It does have debt on its books, and with this exit, it's going to essentially pay down that debt. Of course, it's made another acquisition as well. But yeah, post that sharp spike down, post the Q3 numbers, we have seen a rebound come by in the stock price. Okay. Well, we'll have to take a very short breather right here on the show, but come right back. We'll continue with the countdown and lots more news right here on Market Fatafat. Alright, welcome back. You're watching Market Fatafat. It's all about the movers and shakers in trade. Take a look at SBI as well as Jet Airways. Just as we speak right now, we're seeing a sharp spike come by in the stock price of Jet Airways. It's inched into the green, 1/3% higher. But take a look at SBI on the flip side. What a sharp knock just in the last couple of minutes of trade. Just as we were in a break, we did see a sharp downtick come by in the stock price of SBI, 1.3% lower. For the benefit of our viewers just tuning in, the news is that post-debt conversion, SBI may hold 15% in Jet Airways, and in turn, Naresh Goyal's stake in the airline may go down from 20%, from 51% to 20%. This is after a fresh share issuance. Again, to follow up essentially on the news which came in yesterday about the EGM that's going to be held on the 21st of February to enhance the share capital base. They want to increase the authorized share capital. This would give them room to essentially enable issue of fresh preference shares, and of course not to mention convert debt being held by a consortium of lenders led by SBI into equity. One such step is perhaps happening right now as per agencies, that SBI may own 15% stake in Jet Airways. Sharp spike in the stock price of Jet Airways for SBI. It's the opposite reaction. Sharp downtick in the stock price. After all the give and take, SBI is settling in at about 277.7 rupees. Okay, well, moving away from that story, let's continue with the big movers and shakers in trade. And Ashish, India Cement, it's quite a downtick witnessed over here. What would be your, mostly I think it's a downtick for these cement names, but yeah, specifically for India Cement, it's a 4.5% uptick, pardon me. What would be your recommendation here?
Over here we are seeing some kind of a pullback, but the overall sector has been extremely negative, and India Cement has been in a medium-term downtrend. So I think any rally should be used as a shorting opportunity with 88 as a stop loss. Any rallies toward 85 can be used as shorts. 88 as a stop and target of 80 on the downside.
Okay, so if India Cement continues this rally, goes to 85, Ashish is saying that's a good place to essentially sell India Cements. Vivek, let's talk about Adani Ports after the massive decline, a clarification coming in today.
Well, that's right. So yesterday you saw very, very high fluctuation as far as the stock price was concerned. One of the reasons was that the market was fearing that a lot of the promoter shares actually pledged with various financial institutions, and most of the companies where the promoter holding was pledged to a very high level was actually seeing quite a bit of a sell-off after the G fiasco. However, the management came out with a clarification post-market hours yesterday. They said that most of the interest of the shareholders at this point of time is safeguarded, and they said that this the event that happened yesterday was more market driven. There has been no fundamental or no news driven change as far as Adani Ports is concerned.
Alright, and in fact the entire pack, the Adani pack is posting quite a recovery today. Siddharth, why are you flagging off Divi's Labs?
Well, yesterday, Mobina, this pharma index, Nifty Pharma index was down substantially, in fact worst performing index. But still there are some names like Divi's Lab in Pharma Pack which are showing signs of stabilization. Now this stock since last 2-3 months has been trading in a narrow range. Today we are seeing a decent up move. This up move is backed by volumes, backed by a rise in open interest, which means that within Pharma Pack this is a stronger stock, and as index is stabilizing, that is Nifty Pharma index is stabilizing today, we are seeing a stable stock performing well. So watch out on this one.
Okay, another pharma company that's doing pharma stock rather that's posting quite a decent gain is Pfizer. Ever since the Q3 numbers were delivered, which were as well a good set. So Manav, what would you recommend on Pfizer?
See, the prices have actually breached the important levels and it's trying to close above its important crucial average of 200 EMA. We have already seen there is a good positive breakout on the daily charts, and the volumes are also indicating a positive follow-up from the current zone. So at the current levels, the stance remains bullish and we can expect higher levels towards the levels of 3100. One can also maintain a stop loss at 2820 on the lower side.
Alright, so bullish stance on a Pfizer. Ashish, what about a Karnataka bank? In the last 1 odd month, we've seen quite a rebound come by in this stock as well.
Absolutely, Karnataka Bank has shown a very strong outperformance with the overall banking space, and we can clearly see this stock bouncing back from the lower levels. It has again shown some positive activity from the short-term moving average, and there is a possibility we can expect it to move towards the target of 125 on the upside. Stop loss of 113 can be made too.
Alright, 1.3% higher for Karnataka Bank, but with that we're completely out of time. So Ashish and Manav, thanks so much for joining in and giving us your technical strategy. Siddharth and Vivek, to you as well. But before we wrap it up, a reminder for our viewers, the new TRAI tariff order is here and gives you, the viewers, the power to choose and pay only for the channels that you love.